Richard Kuklinski, a contract killer known as the Iceman, is serving multiple life sentences for over 100 murders. He freely admits to the brutal, cold-blooded killings. But one question remains unanswered. Why?
Did you think of yourself as an assassin?
Assassin? Sounds so exotic. I was just a murderer.
In July 2002, Dr. Park Dietz, a world-renowned psychiatrist and consultant to the FBI, visited Kuklinski in search of an insight into his twisted criminal mind. Over the course of 4 days, Dr. Dietz spent 13 hours with him, trying to penetrate the psyche of this remorseless killer.
If I understand you correctly, you're positive you killed more than 50 people, and
Definitely.
you think you probably killed more than 100 people.
Definitely.
Sure of that one,
Definitely.
but not sure it's more than 200.
I wouldn't say definitely to that.
Maybe yes, maybe no.
I would say less than 200 people.
Well, you tell me.
It's not less than 200 people.
You killed more than 200 people.
Sure. Yep. I killed, basically, 100 people when I was a young man, before I even knew anybody. Too much. One part of my life, I killed people for nothing. Just for somebody to look at me wrong, I would kill them. Stab them, shoot them.
You tended to shoot people up close and personal.
Definitely. I wanted to tell them just before they left. I wanted to say goodbye.
Did you like to look them in the eye?
I wanted them looking straight at me. This was a long way away, the distance we are now. We were closer.
What did you want them to think as they died?
Just see my pretty face. I take it to them. But the last thing they ever saw was me. And if they carry that glimpse to eternity, infinity, or whatever it is, they're gonna be thinking of me all that time. I'd be looking in their eyes. I would see the blankness come over it. I'd watch them die. I just didn't shoot them and walk away. I saw the surprise, the shock, the blank. They're gone. And all I saw was my reflection. But that's it.
Did you have a favorite place you'd like to shoot?
A favorite?
Yeah.
Well, most of the time, if you're up close, you shoot them under the chin. You would shoot him. Shot a guy one time in his Adam's apple. See how long it would take him to die.
How long did it take?
A few minutes. He drowned, actually. He didn't.
Drowned in his blood.
Mm-hmm. I was with somebody else. We had a $50 bet. I lost.
You thought he'd go faster, huh?
Yes.
Do you know what an adrenaline rush feels like?
Oh, yeah.
What will give you one?
Sex. It's the only one. I don't really get anything from hitting anybody, hurting anybody, shooting anybody. Does nothing for me. The The only thing that gives me pleasure is sex.
Well, that's a different kind of pleasure than what an adrenaline rush is.
It's pleasure, I guess.
Yeah.
If I were to beat somebody up, it would do nothing for me. If I knocked them down and stepped over them, that's why you see it doesn't bother me. I don't care to hurt anybody. It does nothing for me. Killing someone else.
But you could never get a feeling out of it.
I never got one, though. It was disappointing. That's when I figured I must be crazy. Because I figured someone should have some kind of a feeling. Something.
Dr. Dietz discovered that by the age of 10, Richard Kuklinski was already showing signs of pathological behavior.
How were you with animals at that age?
Deadly.
Cats, dogs?
Cats, dogs. I used to tie two cats' tails together. I drove over a clothesline and watched them rip each other apart.
How long does it take?
Not long.
Did they both die?
I don't know. I never stood around to see the final thing. I would say eventually they both died because they were both pretty well tore up.
Gotta be noisy.
It was quite noisy.
What else would you do with cats?
Well, we had the incinerator in the projects there. So I threw a cat in the incinerator. Then I threw a book of matches in there. And through the door, I watched the fire get bigger and bigger, and this cat was running around, trying to get away. Eventually, the fire got too big for him, and he didn't run anymore.
Kuklinski's childhood was characterized by brutality and violence inflicted upon him by his father, Stanley.
What's the worst beating you ever took from your old man?
I don't think there's much difference in any of them. They were all pretty bad. He left his mark on me, pretty much.
And he did most of that before you were, what, 11?
Yes, I was young.
And was that worse when he was drinking?
With Stanley, it didn't really matter whether he was drinking or he wasn't drinking. He was a nasty son of a bitch, and he always will be till the day he died. And even when he died, he was a nasty son of a gun.
Did you go to his funeral?
No, I didn't.
Was there one?
Yes. I didn't like him in life. Why would I want to go see him in death? I was glad he was dead.
How about your mom? How was she?
Over the years, I got to dislike my mother a great deal. But now that I have more time to think about it, she was just a victim of her own life.
As a kid, how did you see her?
Hateful. Disliked her a great deal. She didn't believe in sparing a rod either. I mean, she used to hit me with a broomstick if I did something wrong.
Where would she hit you?
Wherever it hit.
As Kuklinski grew older, he no longer had to suffer his father's brutality. Instead, he chose to inflict his own on others, often for little or no apparent reason.
How much would somebody have to humiliate you before you'd become obsessed with killing them?
It would be the degree he humiliated me. If it were not much, and it would be the time. It would be how my